Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Christine.
And I'm Rob.
Welcome to this week's episode of Adventures and Mousecapades.
This week, we're debating whether or not we should sign up for an excursion on our upcoming Royal Caribbean cruise to Hawaii. It used to go to Lahaina. Obviously, we're very sad. Lahaina doesn't really exist anymore. So they've added stops in Victoria, BC, and Seattle, which is kind of an interesting choice on a Hawaiian cruise. But the real question is, should we spend $100 per person to visit Snoqualmie Falls? That's literally just down the hill from our house. Do you think we could get the tour bus driver to swing by our street if we forgot something in our suitcases? Let's discuss.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
No.
We're not going to pay $100 a person to go visit the falls.
No, we've already purchased the unlimited drink package. I'm not getting off the ship that day.
It's true.
Why are we here, Alicia?
We are here because this week we're joined by Rob and Christine, who recently had an action-packed trip to Disneyland where they did all of the things. Welcome to both of you to our little show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're just going to dive right in here. What is your Disney history? Like, did you grow up on Disney? All that good stuff.
I mean, I think both of us started our first Disney trip in utero. So we're both originally from the East Coast. So Florida Park was our home park until about 2011, where that would have been my second trip to Disneyland and your
My
first, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we went a lot as kids. And then do you want to talk about the most special part about Disney for us?
Oh, yeah. We got married at Walt Disney World.
Oh, nice.
So it's always been special to us. I was a Disney sort of dreamer growing up. I went once or twice and mentally was always planning when I could go again. We met, we started dating. I don't know if we, at one point we just bring it up casually, and then we just got more serious about it and said, yeah, let's find out what it takes to get married at Disney. And we did.
I mean, we had the date picked before we were officially engaged, right? So
Yes.
Was it at the wedding pavilion?
it was at the Boardwalk Hotel.
Okay.
So for most people, when they hear you get married in Walt Disney World, they assume that like you got married on like It's a Small World or sort of the teacups or something like that. It's not. It's, as my cousin who didn't think, he was like, oh, this is just like a regular wedding. I'm like, yeah, like it's like, you know, we didn't have. I mean, although you could have had a character there come visit, but it's not like you're not in the park.
Yeah.
I know they have some of those. Those are super early and super expensive.
Yes.
But it was a traditional wedding.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, we talked about doing a vow renewal at Aulani. It was going to be in 2020, it was our 20th and my parents' 50th, and we were going to do a big shindig. And so we briefly talked with the folks at Aulani about that and had some significant sticker shock, even just stuff there. I can't imagine how fun things would be at the parks. There's lots of options. Do you want Mickey and Minnie? Do you want all the white horses? Do you just want one? Like, yeah.
We've considered also renewing our vows at Disneyland, and this way we sort of can do like we got married at Disney World, and we're renewing our vows at Disneyland.
I like it.
Yeah, and we had for our wedding back at the time, we had our sticker shock, including there's a portion where we all do. You talk to the wedding planner, and then there's a portion where they told me, okay, here's where the florist will come in, and you stay as long as you can, and then just leave. And when we met with our wedding planner again, she's like, oh, you didn't take the napkins that come with it, and you didn't do this, and I was like, oh, mental note. And then when Christine got the just for the florist, I was at work, and when she came home, she was like, all right, before I tell you what it is, I've already cut it in half.
It's like, don't worry. I've already managed to get X amount of money cut off. We don't really need a lot of those things that we thought we wanted. Like, the regular chairs are just fine.
You know, you go in there and like you do all these tastings, and it's like, yeah, we need 4 carving stations, and we need 12 different hors d'oeuvres for the cocktail hour, and then you see it, and you're like, wait, do we need a tuna cutting station? I've never seen a tuna carving station at a wedding I've ever been to. And I didn't have it at my own. So.
No, we did not.
How often do you guys travel to Disneyland?
We were going every year for a little while.
Okay.
So we did like 2011, where our oldest was
Not quite 2.
not quite 2, and then we waited till 2014, where our youngest was not quite 2, and then we hit every year about until we were supposed to go back in 2020.
Yeah.
And then we took a couple of years off, so it was like 2018 to 2022 was kind of our largest gap between Disneyland.
Got it.
Okay.
Cool.
What hotel did you stay at when you're down in Disneyland?
This time around, we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. We've stayed on site and off site several times. Previously, we'd done Paradise Pier, which is now being switched to the Pixar Hotel.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's called now, but there used to be one off site called Red Lion. It doesn't exist there anymore. They've gotten rid of it. We've stayed at, there was one other place we stayed at, and I can't remember.
So for work, we went to Minecon in 2016, and so we stayed by the convention center, and there was a DoubleTree Inn, and then we that was our second 2016 trip. We took a couple extra days to hit the parks, and,
As you do.
and then there were a couple times where I had to go to work, and so Christine stayed with the kids.
Got it. Those are the best. I will often tag along with Alicia if she has a work event, like a conference or something, either down in Florida or down in California, and I will absolutely go and take the time off. And oops, we forgot the kids. And solo days like in Disney World are pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Let's see. So you were at Disneyland Hotel this time.
Yes.
What tower were you
We're
in?
in the Frontierland Tower.
Okay.
I don't know, other than going to Goofy's Kitchen and to the gift shop, I don't really think we've explored Disneyland Hotel before. So to walk in, everyone's great, as they always are.
Yeah.
You know, cast members are always fantastic, or at least in my experience. And just to see the miniature of like the Big Thunder Mountain area.
Yeah.
And one of the cast members there, he was pointing out the hidden Mickeys for us. And it's just, what a fun experience.
Yeah.
And it was great because we had never seen that one on Big Thunder Mountain before. So we were all there, and on the ride, we're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's cool. I know they're finishing up the new DVC tower there. Was there construction noises or anything going on?
So we didn't hear any construction noises, but there was a lot of construction going on, including, I don't know if it was unplanned, but it was not stated ahead of time. There was maintenance on the one of the pools, the one with the monorail slide. So as we always say, next time.
Yeah.
But we had access to a different pool because that was one of the reasons we flew down so early. Was our youngest was like, I want a pool day, and I'm like, oh, this is a short trip, but if we leave at like 8 a.m, we'll be at the resort by 12.
Yeah.
And we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both made this trip about, we've done Disney so much. Can we do different things this time? Let's be a little bit more relaxed and manage our expectations and not feel the need to like rush everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that's what a Disney trip is. A lot of walking, a lot of waiting, a lot of rushing to the point A to point B. And I was like, hey, when I was, in 2011, I was pregnant with my youngest and saw Bengal barbecue, and I had not eaten there until this trip.
Oh, huh.
But I had been thinking about Bengal barbecue. We're just never in that area at that time. So I said, let's do it different this time. And that's what we did. We just took a different approach to the way we normally vacation there. And it was great. We took rest times. Like, we can leave. It's getting really hot. It's 2:00. It's sweltering. Let's go back to the hotel.
Yeah. California's so good about that because the hotels, whether you're staying on property or off property, everything's right there.
Yes.
And so we went when Sterling was probably 2 or so, and hey, there's nap time. Like one of us is going back to the room, and it's just like a quick 5-minute walk to wherever we were. And Alicia and Caitlin would go do whatever couple rides that they wanted to go do, or vice versa. And it's so handy. And you're right. Especially like oh my gosh, it's too hot. Like,
Yeah.
Same thing in Florida too. You just, if you're not trying to hit like all 30 rides in Magic Kingdom on the same day, just relax and just chill.
I think one of the reasons we kept missing the Bengal barbecue was we were always very ride centric. So we would hit Adventureland to get Indiana Jones out of the way before the queue hit like 75 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, while we're here, we'll do Jungle Cruise. And then it would either be just before breakfast or just after breakfast. And now lunchtime hits and you're on the other end of the park. And you're just like, I don't really feel like going back to, we'll do it, Tuesday when we go back. And then Tuesday would come and something else would happen.
Something else would happen.
So this approach was completely different. And even with we were going to be relaxed, that first day in Disneyland, we were there for 14 hours. And I will say for 14 hours, we did like relax because at like 5 o'clock, we found a nice spot in the shade for the parade, which started at 6:30.
Yeah.
And then the kids were like, teacups. I'm like, I'm too old for teacups. I don't like the spin. Here's where it is. Here's where we are. Come back before 6:30. So even in that 14-hour day, we built in some rest areas.
Yeah. How old are your kids now?
13 and 11.
Okay. So they're old enough that they can have a little bit of independence and a little bit of freedom.
Yes. And they've been to the parks enough where they're not going to be like, I don't know where to go. They know where to go now.
That helps. That definitely
and
helps.
it was great because, again, I don't want to go on teacups. I'm too old for teacups. I also get very dizzy easily with like getting off of rides and stuff. So I'm like, that's a great ride for you. We'll sit. You know where to find us. We'll be right here. And we did that a couple of times throughout this trip, which was fantastic. Giving them the independence, I was like, you guys know what to do. Just don't fight with each other while you're online. And it's great. And we did that a couple of times, Yeah,
they didn't want to see, they're not really into Marvel, so they didn't want to see Rodgers the musical.
Okay.
And originally we were going to like kind of force them to do it. But then they were like, I really want to go on Incredicoaster again. And I get some motion sickness. And I had a friend give me some tips for next time that I will try. But I had a bad experience in the tropical storm on Incredicoaster. Felt a little ill for about 30 minutes. So when they wanted to go again, part of me wanted to try it because I was like, I want to enjoy it this time. But I was like, it's still a little too fresh in my mind of how I felt. I'm like, hey, you know what? It's a 35-minute show. Go on Incredicoaster. And then they just started hitting stuff on the pier while they were waiting for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the show?
It's amazing.
It was fantastic. It was Broadway quality.
Yeah.
It was such a well-done production. We love Broadway musicals and stuff. So I was excited to begin with. And then just to see how they did it, it was so well done. It didn't feel thrown together. It was just so beautifully planned. The songs were great. I only popped my camera out once or twice, and because I really just wanted to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
So it was such a great thing. I was really glad we got to see it. That was one of the things. I said, what do we want to do on this trip that we haven't done before, or that's only temporary?
Yeah.
And that for me was very high on my list. That was probably number one.
Because that show closed as we're recording this just a few days ago at the end of August. So
it was a lot of I was like, this is a lot of effort that they went and did for 2 months. And I can't imagine it's not going to come back at some point, whether it's seasonal or like that's a lot.
Yeah, I think that would be a perfect show for a cruise.
Yes.
Like they could definitely bring it that length. It's like a half hour would be perfect on a cruise, I think.
And it really, like I said, the way they had the two actors playing Steve, the before and the after.
Yeah.
The way they had the radio out. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
They changed the sets with ease. I just loved it. I thought they did the singing, the dancing, everyone was fantastic in it.
Alicia, get out of my brain, because that's exactly what I was thinking too. Like they're gonna put this on a ship. Like you're right, Rob. Like there's no way they'd put that amount of investment into standing up a show and just do it for 2 months.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see it on the Treasure. Maybe we'll see it somewhere.
Yeah.
Fingers
Do they?
crossed.
I mean, I know they used to. Do they still do the Marvel Day at Seas on
They do. In fact, I think they just it was either Star Wars or Marvel that they paused, and they just brought them that one back. But those are very. It's like just a single day on your cruise.
Yeah,
it's not
it's not all the cruises either. It's
right.
Like usually, I think they do like January to May or January to March is when those will show up. We've never been on one of those.
No.
On any of the specialty cruises like
Someday.
that.
Have you all done cruising at all?
Not a Disney cruise, no.
Not a Disney cruise. Yeah, that's right. Not a Disney cruise.
Well, you have to try it sometime.
Yeah.
That's on the list. It's always on the list. That Alani is on the list, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, if it was up to you, I think we would visit every Disney park at some point.
I mean,
I know that you're pushing
Yeah.
for Tokyo because once you get back into marathons.
yeah, that was when I was a marathon runner. I wanted to obviously hit one of the big six, which is Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Disney Seas is right there.
Yeah.
Which, as much as I want to go to Tokyo Disneyland, it feels like there's not as many unique things. Like obviously you want to go in, you want to see the castle, all those big things. But if I was only going to do, like if I had 3 days, it'd probably be 2 in Seas just because it is so unique and looks very interesting.
We've heard from several folks that we've interviewed, and their favorite park, like globally, has like everybody says if they've been there, that's it. It's Tokyo Disney Sea.
I've watched a few, lists things where they say what's the best Disney park, and Disney Seas frequently comes out number one.
Yeah.
Frequently, yeah.
How long were you down in Disneyland this time?
So if you count our travel days, we were there 6 days.
Okay.
So it was travel early in the morning. So we were up. We like to be at the airport. Anyone who's ever missed a flight is there 3 hours early, no matter what. So we got up super early, but we were at the resort by 12:30.
Yeah, shortly afternoon.
Yeah, and then we had 4 days in the park, and then we left late on the 6th day, and that's why we chose not to when the tropical storm hit to update our days.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you go to the Florida park, that's the perfect time to go. Everyone bails.
Yes.
This is the first time a tropical storm has hit when a Disney park has been built on California.
Yep.
And one of the reasons in our second day of California Adventures that we had the ability, or we felt like we had the ability to go back in the afternoon, was we had done everything that we wanted to, except for Rodgers because it wasn't running that day.
Okay.
Before we even walked into the park, we walked on every ride. We had, as part of our tickets, pre-purchased fast passes, or lightning lanes as part of Genie Plus.
Yeah.
And we only used them twice. And the longest wait that day was for Soarin', which was 25 minutes, because it was an indoor ride.
Yeah.
And we had fast passed that one.
Nice.
Okay. I'm actually wearing, I think, the outfit I wore that particular day.
Yeah.
Everything looks black when I'm wearing, except for the shirt looks navy. I had a gray hat on that looked black. It was just, we came in, we literally rang out all of our clothes. We got back early because we knew the winds were going to get worse.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to be smart. So around 3, we're like, I think we did everything. We're good, right? We have nothing else. We're done. We're good. We've seen everything. Yep.
We did everything. So they didn't have early, not because of the weather, just because they had another event. They didn't do early opening. So the parks opened at 9, where all the other days it was 8 and then 7:30 for resort guests. It was 9 because they were doing some local charity with the local children's hospital.
Got it.
And we walked in, I think they let us in at 8:45, and then rope dropped at 9. We hit every ride that was open that we wanted to go on.
Wow.
The only thing that was closed because of weather was Luigi. And then Radiator Springs Racers would have been closed, but it was already closed for refurbishment.
Okay. Got it.
Did you have any rain-free days, or were all of
Yeah, that was the only rain
That was
day.
the only rainy day.
Oh, really?
It was the only rainy day.
And it really rained.
Oh, yes, it absolutely poured. We were one of the few people who had nothing. Some people had umbrellas. Some people had raincoats. I don't like the raincoats or the rain ponchos
Yeah.
because you just end up sweating so much. And I
Yes.
don't like that. So I said, look, it's rain.
Yeah.
We do rain all the time here. So, I ended up this is who we are. With that baseball hat will be as good as it needs to be and
Yeah.
just go on every ride. He had a miserable time on Incredicoaster because it just kicked your butt.
Well, so those type of rides, they like make my blood sugar drop, and then I have like a Coke or like a sweet drink beverage or something, and I'm good.
Yeah.
And we went on Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's one of the rides that usually does it to me. But I felt really good after, and Incredicoaster wasn't open, and we were like, but then it opened up, and I was like, this is probably one that will close.
Right.
I didn't feel confident going directly there, but we went on Web Slingers. It was a 5-minute wait. So
Everything
it
was
wasn't
a
enough
walk
time.
on.
And I usually, there's that like last curve and then they like abruptly stop you. That's where I feel bad.
Yeah.
And I felt bad before we went in through the loop. And at one point, I'm like, I like want to smile for the picture, but I'm keeping my mouth closed, like just in case.
I had the same thing on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Cosmic Rewind.
Cosmic
Yeah.
Rewind. That lap bar just goes a lot higher, and so it was just pressing right in. Like,
Your solar plexus.
oh man! And halfway through that ride, I was like, oh god, this is not gonna be good. Like I had to sit down. Like they have a bench right outside the exit area, and I sat down for like a good 5 minutes on both the times that we tried it. So. I'm gonna have to be significantly convinced, otherwise to that thing again.
That's all right. I loved it. I'll go on with the kids.
I was the row in front of him, and I was with my youngest, and I'm having a grand time screaming that the rain is hurting my face
I was
because
gonna ask. I was like, how?
it was
How
rain,
is
and it was
that?
raining hard at that point. So I'm cackling because it's hysterical. It's so funny, and at the same time yelling, "The rain hurts my face," and my daughter is just like, "Mine too," but we were laughing, and then I just get off the ride and I see him and I go, "Oh no!"
Oh,
And because of the storm,
Yeah.
right? Usually you get off and there's the little Jack cart where you can get the,
Yeah.
well, all of the carts, except for churro carts, because those are premium carts,
Right.
but all the carts were closed.
Every cart.
So we walked up the boardwalk until where the knickknack.
Yeah.
There's a covered area that's covered for sun, but it's
Yeah.
porous, so rain comes through.
Yeah.
And I said, I need you to go to the cappuccino cart and get me the s'mores cold brew because I can't make it and
Right.
I need something.
Right. Oh,
goodness.
I'm
But-
sorry I had to deal with that.
Well, so for next time,
Yeah.
I was told 500 milligrams of ginger in the morning and the afternoon, and that's a friend who said he experienced the same thing as I did.
Yeah.
He's like, I can go on Incredicoaster, like, and then go on it again.
Yeah, ginger definitely helps
wow.
combat
So,
nausea. Yeah.
yeah.
Good pro tip.
Yeah. How full were the parks? You're mentioning that you did a lot of walk-ons. Was it like that the entire time you were there, or is it just that day?
Just that day.
Okay.
Everyone, I think, made up for it the next couple of days. It's like we went to Disney World and we were at the Magic Kingdom on Super Bowl Sunday. Where was everybody? And then we went to Epcot the next day and it was also empty. And it's because everyone is now at the park on Super Bowl Monday to see the parade and who's
That's-
going to Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
Found that out the second time that happened to us, where we were like, "Wow, it's really crowded here today." Oh,
that was
Emmett
our-
Smith, you know.
Oh yeah. So that was our first trip together was during the Super Bowl. We did the whole park that day. And we didn't pick it because like we were like, oh, no football players are going to be there the next day. Everyone's going to be there. We picked it because it was our first full day, and you know what a better way to kick off your trip than the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then on our honeymoon, we as part of the package they give you annual passes. So we activated them during our
Tasting.
thank you. Yeah, our food tasting because it was like we might as well use them there.
Yeah.
And like we would even when we went to like Universal or SeaWorld or other places, we would always come back in the evening for either the parade or the fireworks.
Yeah.
So we did everything multiple times. The only thing that was closed was Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters. And on our last day, which was the Monday after the Super Bowl, was the day it was opening up. So we're like, all right, we're going to end it on the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And we walked in and I was like, this ride is good, but it's not this good. Like, what is going on? Like, I didn't understand. And then they made the announcement, join us for the noon parade, where Super Bowl MVP Hines Ward will be there, and Jerome Bettis and Emmitt Smith, because he was on Dancing with the Stars that year. And I was like,
that's why.
That's when we realized they do go to Disney World. When they say it, they mean it.
Yeah.
I
they'll be
never truly realized it until that day.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to be in Disney World for the first time for Christmas.
Oh, fun.
And we're the kind of people who look at the crowd calendar and find the lowest number and then build our vacation around that. And we've been in the parks when it's been really high and it hasn't been fun. So we're like, we'll just see what we can do and make the best of it. And then we were talking to our friends who are locals just the other night, and they were saying like, yeah, go Christmas Eve.
It's empty.
Because it's empty. Like nobody goes. And then like the first thing on Christmas Day, first thing in the morning, like rope drop, because everybody's at home opening presents or doing whatever. And then if you stay later in the day on Christmas, especially at Magic Kingdom, then it gets kind of nuts. But I think we're going to rope drop Magic Kingdom and then make sure we're out by like noon or 1 and hopefully miss a bunch of it. So
We were there for New Year's.
Oh, how was that?
Busy.
Yeah.
I don't like crowds.
Yep.
But I know to manage, you have to be able to manage crowds to an extent when you're in Disney. And this was nothing I'd ever seen before. I was stunned. I was like, I know it's busy, but I didn't know how hard it would be to physically move my body from point A to point B. And I'm a bigger person, so I was just like, wow, how do I get just, there? And there is not that far.
And we were in studios for New Year's Eve, right?
Yes.
And
So Fantasmic on New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
oh, cool.
yeah, what was interesting is it was before all of the construction was done on Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge. So there was a lot less to do.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the priority park.
Yeah.
So when we missed the signups for Jedi training, we just were like, well, there's not much left for us to do.
Yeah.
So we just waited to see if there was a walk-on, and our oldest was able to do that. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
That's cool. In California Adventure, San Francisco just opened up fully. I know it wasn't fully done when you were there. Were you able to go in the area at all?
Oh,
or-
yeah. It
Okay.
was completely accessible.
Oh, nice.
Things were open. It just wasn't like fully,
Got it.
christened. They were still putting up some signage. You could see, but they did a fantastic job. And again, we were very relaxed, and it was pouring out the day we went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
But even then, we're like, all right, we missed getting this item or whatever. Well, it's fine. It's fine. But I was, it looked great. And I think it's going to be, I hope they have Baymax there.
I think they're going to have Baymax and Hero.
That's going to be
what they
fantastic.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we went, I said, well, I never thought that I would be eating macaroni and cheese in a bread bowl in the middle of August. But, well,
Here we are.
here we are. It's cold enough. It's miserable weather. It's the perfect weather to have a comfort meal like
Yeah.
that.
Was it a sourdough bread bowl?
It was the sourdough bread bowl.
Good stuff.
I was beside myself. I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, the bridge wasn't done yet, so we couldn't walk across that,
Right.
that bridge. But they had the other entrance into. They were still calling it Pacific Wharf.
Right.
So it hasn't been christened yet, but
Right.
yeah, that was still open, and most of the signage was up, and it was interesting because after we came back, we were seeing, obviously your phone listens to you and knows where you were, and it's like more signage is up, and it's like, ooh, it's getting close.
Yeah.
There's a lot of construction going on down there right now. We've got, I know the monorail's down because they're doing all that stuff. A lot of the downtown Disney is still doing construction.
Yes, they're doing a lot of construction. They're building new restaurants.
And Splash Mountain is in the middle of its transformation. And was Tiana's Palace
It was
done,
not
or could you
open
see
when
it?
we were there.
Okay.
I I think it's opening. I think it opened this week.
Is it this week or next week? Somewhere
It's
around
very
there.
soon.
Soon. Yeah.
And they also just announced a Haunted Mansion expansion.
Yes, they did. The
Excited
queue
about
is going to
that.
have like expand out.
Yes,
And
like they
give-
have in Disney World. Yeah. Something like that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Did you see any shows while you were there? Fireworks or World of Color or anything?
Well,
Or
World of
one,
Color was
whatever it is?
canceled on us.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just kind of looked at each other like, all right, we're missing it. It's the 9 o'clock. Do we really want to stay here till 10 to see if we can get the second show? It's fine.
Yeah, obviously the first night it was canceled because of the storm, and we wouldn't have been there anyway. And then our goal was to hit the fireworks because, you know, in Anaheim they're so close to residential areas that atmospheric conditions can cancel it, and there was still enough wind from the storm that they canceled the fireworks. So then when they on the third day it looked like it was a technical issue with I don't know if it was the projections or the jets. They warned us 15 minutes ahead that it might be canceled.
And then you see the little engineers out on boats trying to figure something out.
But at that point we were like, we could only do fireworks or World of Color on the last day, so we went with fireworks and crossed our fingers and lucked out that we were able to see the show, which was amazing.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's good.
Because I know that's going away. And now they're doing all the Halloween stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I was happy. And I also said, let's do that more relaxed. So we went all the way towards the front of the park.
Yeah.
So further away from the castle. But it was great to see all the projections and like the group you could tell everyone back there was just like, we're going to take that. Everyone was chill. People were recording.
Yeah.
You could still see everything. It was fantastic. They did great fireworks.
We've even seen the fireworks show from the Esplanade, like between the two parks.
Yes.
And it's fantastic from there. I mean, you don't see all the projections, but the fireworks were great.
Yeah, fireworks are good. We'll talk about your big food restaurant visit in a minute, but did you do any sit-down meals, or how was the food experience? You said you went to Bengal barbecue
Yes,
for the
I
first
loved Bengal
time.
barbecue.
It was good.
The kids were a little, my youngest is a little sensitive to different food things, but that was part of the change. We always book breakfast and dinner, and we're very, this one we only did breakfast.
And we only did breakfast in Disneyland. We didn't do any breakfast reservations in for California Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just like, let's just take it easy. Let's stop at Pim's.
Yeah.
Let's just get the breakfast there, instead of having to run around and do, we have a reservation at Carthay Circle, which maybe my youngest will eat the food and maybe we're picking up chicken nuggets afterwards. I don't know. Let's try different things.
Yeah.
You want to try the chicken sandwich? Let's go back to Pim's. That's fine. I've been wanting to try the shawarma since it opened. Didn't get to. Well, we did on this trip and it was fantastic.
Awesome.
Our two mainstays are the breakfasts available, sit down breakfast at Disneyland.
Okay.
We have to do Plaza because the kids, no matter how old they get, they love the experience. They love the characters.
Yep.
They're now old enough where I'm just like, go get your own food. I don't have to get it for you. Fantastic.
And I know you were like, I think this is the last year for autograph books. I'm like, well, let's let them decide because this wasn't me saying, oh, we got to get autograph books. They were like, we're getting them, right? And, we'll get them when we go down. So. They were still excited about that.
Cool.
And for me, it feels like Disney once I have a giant Mickey waffle from Carnation Cafe. It has to be the giant one. I love the little ones, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But that big Mickey waffle says, you are here. You are at Disney. You are having the time of your life. And I love getting it.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah. But because of that, it allowed us to, besides the Bengal barbecue, there was the Ronto wrap. We hadn't been in Galaxy's Edge at a time when we were hungry.
Yeah.
We wanted to do the pizza flop over from Toontown. And it's like, we did both of those in the same day because we got one pizza flop over, shared it between the four of us. We're like, that's a 5 o'clock snack.
Yeah.
And then after, I think we had a 7 o'clock Millennium Falcon Lightning Lane. And we're like, after that, we'll go get 2 Ronto wraps. It was for me and my oldest, and then you and our youngest got something at Rose Tavern.
Yeah, Rose Tavern, because I just want to have the gray stuff.
Yeah, I've heard it's delicious.
Yeah.
It is.
Have you? Well, it sounds like you haven't. You've got to try the Ronto wrap for breakfast. The breakfast Ronto wrap is incredible.
So one of the one of the things that we kind of decided in this trip is, again, huge Star Wars fan, but I feel like I mean, we did things like, the Savi's lightsaber, and we've done the Millennium Falcon and Rise of the Resistance. The kids did droids. So we've done experiences in there, but they are very almost timed.
Yeah.
Where it's okay, we have to go because we're going to do this other thing. And one of the things I'd like to do is just spend a half a day and experience Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a half a day straight. In fact, you had mentioned that you think it would be better to do 2 or 3 hours early and then come back at night, because we walked through really quick at night.
And it was
when we
beautiful.
went on Rise of the Resistance. It was beautiful, but it was also okay, we finished our dinner and then we went there because the ride broke down earlier, and now we have to go immediately leave and go get our spot for fireworks. So that's one of the things that I'd like to do and experience the daytime breakfast Ronto wrap.
It's very good.
It's amazing. The other thing you could do is either do a super late, if you wanted to do it again, Savi's reservation and or Oga's Cantina. They both have reservation slots that go up to and through the park close time. And so you get out of that experience and Galaxy's Edge is empty.
Pretty much the whole park is empty.
But the lights are on.
Yeah,
Galaxy's
so pretty.
Edge is incredibly beautiful at night, especially with nobody in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any ride highlights from this trip other than the
rain is hurting my
rain
face.
on Incredicoaster?
I would say that on our last day of Disneyland, we had done most of the stuff. I think the first day we knocked out 12 experiences and did all the food, the stuff that we wanted to, watch the parade, met a bunch of characters. We had a fully packed day.
Yeah.
And in early morning, we kind of just hung out by Mickey and Minnie's. It wasn't it was a delayed opening. And just right before we were oh, maybe we need to move because the kids had fast passes for Matterhorn.
Yeah.
It opened up, and besides it being a walk-on, I actually wanted a 10-minute wait because that queue its own is
That was
amazing.
stunning. They did such a good job on the queue.
That's awesome.
I mean, part of the reason it's a superior ride in Disneyland is the queue.
Yeah.
Part of it's because we lost the Great Movie Ride, which I still enjoyed.
Me too.
They somehow could have had both. It would have been great. But that space was built for the ride, where in Florida, it's retrofitted to the space it has.
Yeah.
And you could tell that not just with the queue, but a lot of the theming, like when it opens up and you're about to get on the train, it looks like the barn.
Yeah.
And it felt I don't know. It's weird when I watch vloggers saying you should be on the queue, but that one you should be on the queue. Maybe not 75 minutes, but you got 20 minutes, 30 minute wait.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
We were online for Pirates.
Okay.
And then it wasn't that the ride, the ride's always great in my opinion. It's one of my favorite rides. But all of a sudden, Captain Jack just cuts into the line, gets behind my daughter. He's like, come on, let's take a picture together. And so she takes a selfie with Captain Jack, and he just continues to cut through the line. And I thought that was a really fun experience because it took her by surprise. She's like, wait, and she just got her phone. And she's just like, oh, okay. And he just did it so casually, so naturally, and just very funny to see him.
And it was a great experience. And her knowledge of Captain Jack Sparrow is the ride.
Right.
She hasn't seen the movie yet, so it's just the character in the park and the character in Pirates.
Yeah. That's a fun. That seems like if I was going to be an entertainment cast member, being friends with Jack Sparrow would be a blast because you could kind of do almost whatever you want.
That's true.
And get away with it.
I joked that we joked on it was our first trip together that what would be my job there, and I'm not maybe the most social person there. So we joked that I would be the one that could drive the monorail because I don't have to talk to people. But the other was that I could be on the Tower of Terror because you get to mess with people
Yes.
a little bit, or guardians in Disneyland.
Yeah. All good choices.
Yes.
All good choices. I
Yes.
think we're gonna either be musicians when we retire, or we're gonna be minivan drivers in Florida.
I think.
Oh, there
yeah.
you
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of those.
that'll be good. That'll be fun. All right, so we've been dancing our way around this. You guys had a pretty incredible experience and an opportunity to visit Club 33.
Yes.
How did that happen?
So interestingly enough, we had said that, okay, this is going to be the chill vacation. And it was, we're not going to make any dinner reservations. Like
Right.
that was the stake in the ground. And because we didn't even know this was an opportunity, right?
Sure.
This
I have
wasn't a thought.
This wasn't a thought. I didn't
Right.
know it was possible. I have a friend who has a hat very similar to the one that you're wearing. When I asked him about it, it was, oh, I have a friend that is a Club 33 member and got us a reservation.
Yep.
Well, from the time we had that conversation until about a month before, at some point he had become a member himself.
Oh, wow.
And we were in a meeting, and he's a big Disneyland fan. So he said, "Hey, is this something you'd be interested in?" And in the back of my head, I was like screaming, "Yes, yes!" But we had talked about no dinner reservations, and I was like, "I think that Christine will be open to it, but let me get back to you." And she's like,
Yeah, I'm open to it.
Why are you asking?
there was the fear about again, our youngest, right? Limited palate.
Yeah.
And finally we said to her, listen, okay, this is a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
If you can't find anything that you like, just order something. I don't care. Don't worry about what it costs. Don't worry about anything else. We will immediately leave and we will get you chicken tenders at Rose Tap, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we took him up on the offer.
Yeah.
And because we had knocked a lot of stuff out, and because it's hot, and there's a dress code for
Yes.
people that,
Yes.
that don't know. It's not like
You're not wearing your
it's
park
not black tie
clothes.
event. It's not anything like that. But you have to wear pants.
Yeah.
Which is not something that I would normally do in the park in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we went back.
Yeah.
And originally it was like, oh, we'll go back at 4, and then like maybe 3. And then I think the day of you said, Christine, you're like, how about 2:30? I was like, really? I was thinking 2.
'Cause it's hot today.
So we did all the rides we didn't get to do. We tried to knock out Rise. It broke down while we were on the Star Destroyer. Our youngest
happened to
asked.
us.
We were
Yeah.
next to go into a
The interrogation room.
Interrogation
So we were
room.
really close. And then our youngest asked if we could do either Space or Big Thunder Mountain again. We did that, and we went back. We took a nap, and then got ready and went to
we packed all the nice shoes in a backpack, walked over in our sneakers, and sat in front of Blue Bayou on the little benches and quickly switched into our nicer shoes.
Yeah.
And we believed like it was like you could wear our sneakers were relatively new, and we probably could have got away with it.
Yeah.
But because we weren't members, and because it's not that scary of an email, but it's more like if there's a dress code violation and it gets canceled, then it goes on the member's credit card.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, this is a once in a lifetime experience, and I don't really want to do anything that's going to cause any issues for this person who's doing this amazing favor for us.
Right.
So we absolutely could have got away with the shoes, but I'm like, just
Yeah.
in case,
Yeah.
we're gonna pack things.
Yep. We have done that as well. It's like we're bringing like nice stuff and a sport coat and our dress shoes and all the rest of that stuff. And it's not because, like, you're right, we could dress nice-ish and be fine, but it's also a chance to really go all out. And
This is a unique experience.
Yeah.
This is not something you're doing all the time. You don't go to Disney all the time.
Right.
I mean, and we go frequently, but it's still special. And this in and of itself is elevated.
Yes.
So we want it as if we're having an elevated experience. Let's go all in.
Yep.
Let's be my youngest is putting on mascara and lipstick, she's got her little dress on. My oldest has their dress on and, getting ready and brushing their hair. So yeah, we were so excited. I took as many pictures as I could.
Yeah.
It was such a fantastic experience. Had the greatest laugh because they say, please don't do this. There's rules.
Sure.
And one of the rules is please don't take photos in the bathroom. And I said, well, that seems really reasonable. Why would you take photos in the bathroom? And then I got up to use the bathroom. And I walked in and I said, I see why they ask you not to take photos in the bathroom. This is fantastic. And then my youngest comes in. She's like, you look at this. She couldn't believe it. They were talking to us, and the cast members there were just giving us information. People would try to steal things. They have stuff glued down. Yeah. So it was just fun. You get history from everyone working there. Yeah. We had a fantastic time. And, again, you have an 11-year-old, a 13-year-old. Palettes are changing, but, I was so proud. They tried everything. And they ate foods that were not common to them. Mm-hmm.
Did they enjoy it?
They did. Oh,
awesome.
They were excited.
Oh, that's good.
And we were thinking, maybe if this opportunity ever happens again, maybe they won't be into it. Maybe they can, tour part of the park while we have this experience. And they were like, no, we are in. This was great. Let's have this experience again.
Yeah, we had that conversation. So now that we're comfortable with them roaming the park, if they don't like this and this happens again, we can take them up on it.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, this was great. And our pickiest eater out of the 4 courses went outside of her comfort zone for 3 of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Enjoyed all 3 of them. And the one thing that we were like, I hope it's on the menu, which was filet mignon.
Yeah.
She ordered, and everyone ordered it but me, partially because you make filet mignon, so it's not that big a deal for me. Yeah. But also in the back of my head, I was like, I want a backup meal in case someone doesn't like it. So I got the rack of lamb. It's not something that you tend to make. It's not something I see on the menu a lot.
Yeah.
And they seasoned the filet with pepper, and that was too spicy for her. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I can eat this. And I was like, do you want the rest of my lamb? And I was like, this kid's not going to like it. But she had a small piece, said she liked it, and ate the whole thing. And it's like, this is great. Like, you sure you don't mind? I'm like, no, they split it in half. I got both the filet and the lamb. This is great for me. And like, even if it wasn't, I want you to have a great experience. Because as you know, like, that menu changes all the time.
Yes.
And there's no way to know what's on it. And the best you could hope for is that someone goes relatively soon to when you are and posted a picture, and like everything I found was up until like a week before was from like 2018 or 2019. There was someone that went in early July, and even then it had changed. So it wasn't the same.
So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get this thing with beef cheeks. But then I'm like, this is not the one from July. This is a completely different menu.
Yeah.
And it was great to see one kid try pheasant, one kid try ahi tuna. This is not things I cook at home.
Yeah.
There's also with the tuna, I'm like, well, maybe I can cook it at home. Maybe now that I see that she tried it, she liked it. She thought it would have benefited her if it was cooked a little longer because, ahi tuna should or is traditionally cooked rare.
Right.
And, she was just... But my youngest coped relatively well with rare tuna. And I was like, that's wow, awesome. And I said, thank you for trying everything.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Some of these foods are brand new to you. But for us, it was just like, look at all this, like fine dining.
Yeah. Was it too fancy for them, or were they just comfortable?
I think they got comfortable.
They got comfortable.
Okay.
I think the thing that is different about one of the things, there's a lot of things that are different about this experience than all the others, but because this is very exclusive, it's a small-ish dining room compared to some of the other areas. There isn't this rush to get you in and out, right? There isn't this competition, and not saying that like any of the cast members are like trying to push you out, but there is, both from, like you as the person that's going, you're kind of trying to, with your meals, especially if it's a character meal, like I want to hit every character and then finish my meal and then like, let's go to the park. Like this is more it is an experience in its own, but it's more like a timed experience. Like we have an hour.
Yeah.
And then here, there is no rush.
No.
So
Right.
it is
Yeah.
a lot more relaxed. And yes, it's 4 courses and it is a lot of food, but the course, the portions are smaller because there are 4
Right.
4 courses. So it was,
It's more luxurious.
and it fit in with our, like, we're going to be kind of low key.
Yeah.
My original plan for that day was it was going to be this and then go to one of the gift shops and then fireworks. But because Rise broke down and we had purchased the lightning lanes,
Yeah.
we did the gift shop earlier. But again, it was that and then Rise and then fireworks. And then it was like, all right, let's.
What a great
That,
way
what
to
a
end the
great
day.
way.
Yeah.
What a day to end a trip.
Yeah.
And it was so, like I said, the food was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely drink, but phenomenal. I had a hurricane and it was phenomenal. I thought, well, it's timely.
Yeah.
It was just a great time. The kids were really enthusiastic, which is,
Yeah.
again, you're taking them out of their comfort zone. So
Right.
to see that they were enthusiastic and they were excited, we were obviously excited and more comfortable with, like, the food. I had the burrata tomato salad. Then I had a mushroom gnocchi. Then we had the filet mignon because that just appeals to literally everyone in my family. You put a medium rare steak and we're good.
Yeah.
And they had a frozen chocolate souffle.
Ooh.
And it had like a raspberry puree and a little, I forgot the name of the cookies again. They're very famous cookies and I can't remember the name of them.
I never knew them. So can't help you there.
But it was fantastic, and it's like I said, my oldest, for one of their second course, tried pheasant. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They loved it. They're like, yeah, this is really good. My youngest, she is very finicky. She's not a soup person,
Okay.
but she tried like this chicken soup. She tried it. She didn't love it, but
Yeah.
she's like, I ate all the chicken.
It's funny because they arrange it in the bowl and then they pour the broth on
Yes.
top. And I
Yeah.
think she was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that."
I think she said you could have skipped that.
I was like, I'm not gonna have any of that.
Did you get any merch?
So much merch.
Did we not get any merch? Yes. So they ask you to do it at the end of the experience. Not just to make it easier on them, but mostly they said it's like, this is an experience for you. Do it at the end so you don't like get up halfway, and then do all that stuff. Cause then you're going to miss some of that experience.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely correct on that. Like that's the way to go. They suggested if there are things that you don't know, take a picture and then bring it to your table and then you can kind of decide. So we ended up with 2 hats, one for me, one for my oldest, 2 pair of mini ears for Christine and our youngest. We got a corksicle for ourselves and our friends, and then Christmas ornament. And then you got a spirit jersey.
I did get a spirit jersey. I never wear spirit jersey. I never look at the spirit jerseys normally. That's not, I'm sweatpants and sweatshirts in the wintertime. But I was like, I kind of have to. It's hilarious and very ornate and not my style at all. But I'm like, but it's Club 33. And this is not something I can say, oh, maybe next time when we go back. Who knows if this will ever happen?
Yeah.
Just get the shirt.
Yeah.
I just had a wonderful, just looking at things and going, oh, let's get the corksicle. Do you want one too? Yeah, I want one too. Sure.
Was the Courtyard of Angels open and everything there with the stairs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
We went so we've been twice, lucky enough to have been twice. And the last time we were there, they were doing a whole bunch of remodeling in that area and the courtyard was closed and we had to go in through like a back side door up directly into the restaurant. And it wasn't quite as magical. Maybe someday we can try it again.
Yeah.
Oh.
We were supposed to go off the back of our cruise in 2020, in March 2020. we were
So many things you were supposed to do in 2020.
Yes, yes. No, we were in the middle of the Panama Canal when they closed Disneyland on a Disney cruise.
Wow.
And so we were traveling with two other couples, and the six of us had reservations for Club 33 after we got off the cruise, and so that didn't happen.
Nope.
But we'll have to try that again.
Yep.
Someday.
Yes,
Someday.
we had a Disney World trip planned for 2020, and then Disneyland, which was going to be attached to our trip to Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, nice.
So that's where I met you.
and we made them both up in 2022.
Yes.
We picked April because it was our youngest birthday.
Yeah.
And then it was supposed to be August for when it was 2020, and originally in 2022 for Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
And then they moved it up because of the Obi-Wan premiere.
Yep.
So we went 5 weeks apart. And it was interesting because we did the Savi's lightsaber builds, and the kids were like, "Can we build a droid?" I'm like, "We're going in 4 weeks."
Right.
Can we just get this stuff home?
Right.
Can the credit card is smoking right now. We'll do it. I promise. It's like 4 weeks. Just give me a minute. I don't want to have to worry about how to get this stuff home.
Right.
Yes.
Especially the Florida trip is although they were about the same, we ended up with overpacking. So it was harder to get all of our souvenirs home.
Yeah. Anything about your trip that we haven't touched on that you want to highlight?
They still have a lot of the 100th stuff is up. A little harder to find some things. I noticed, again, we went right before Halloween. So you see a lot of the 100 merch getting smaller and a lot of the Halloween stuff sort of taking over. There's still things that we didn't do. There's always things.
stuff.
There's always something you miss, whether it's normally, especially with like a celebration, I'm buying every snack food and we're sharing it amongst the four of us. And I didn't do that this trip. We got the churro, the 100th anniversary churro, but that was it. That was it. I didn't get any of the little specialty desserts or whatnot. I did buy Crocs. I was like, I'm getting 100th anniversary Crocs, just so everyone knows. Much to my child rolling their eyes at me.
It's all right. I have Mickey Mouse head Crocs from Halloween from a few years ago. So you have to,
I guess the only other thing I would say is I lucked out and got my black Kyber Crystal. I bought one of each type and came home and was opening them up because I was trying to complete the set of voices. And I remember with the red one, and I know people buy a lot of them trying to get it. And I only bought one on a trip and then two from Shop Disney. Yeah. So I said, I know I have a chance. And I didn't open it on the trip. And the reason I didn't open it on the trip was when I assumed I was going to get the red, I was like, that's going to make me go back and buy another one or another two or five. So I was opening them up and I was like, I'm going to save you for last because when I open you up and see that it's a red one, I'm going to be disappointed. But if it's sealed, like it's still an opportunity. Yeah. And, when I first did it, the first 4 that I opened were duplicates of voices I already had. So I'm like, oh, I just have white and red left. Like this is not going to end well. Yeah. And then, I opened it last and I was like the eyes went big and I was like,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
So then I went on eBay and got the remaining voices.
Of course. Yeah. So,
you have to.
The old fashioned way.
Set is complete.
Yes.
When's your next trip?
Maybe next summer. We'll see what, like I said, my older brother, he's like me. We're never not planning a Disney trip. It's always just, we don't know when the next Disney trip is. There's always a Disney trip. There's always things we want to try, want to do. What's going to be open? Is there going to be something new there? It's just we don't have any, confirmed dates.
Yeah. There are 2 times that I want to go. This first one's going to be way too close to our trip that we're not going to be able to do, but I want to go in mid-November because I want to be in Galaxy's Edge for Life Day. And then May the 4th.
Yes. Good options. Good options. Absolutely.
As a avid Legacy lightsaber collector, at least being there that day, I know the limited edition ones will be out.
Yeah.
What day is Life Day?
November 17th.
17th of November.
Got it. Almost. We're going to be down there about a week before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we'll have to go again sometime.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, it is time for the thing that we didn't tell you about. This is the torture test.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to hand it over to our lead torturer here,
Okay.
Alicia. This is your fast Disney favorites. So off the top of your head, it can be classic Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, anything that the mouse owns at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, take it away, Alicia, and be gentle this time.
No.
Okay.
Favorite Disney character?
If I'm going to go with a classic Disney character, I'd pick Donald Duck. If I'm going to go with something they purchased recently, Luke or R2-D2, probably tied.
Excellent.
I do not have a solid answer for that. My favorite Disney princess is Mulan. When I was a child, up until I saw Mulan, it was always Snow White. But again, as I'm getting older, I really love Donald and really understand him a lot more.
Yeah, if you've ever seen I don't know if it was Once Upon a Christmas or Twice Upon a Christmas, where he just wants to go home and drink the hot chocolate, that cartoon makes him out to be the villain, but he is the hero. Like that is me. I'm like,
I have
can you
never
just let the
felt
man
more connected
Can you let
to a
him
duck.
relax? Like, it's like 4 weeks before Christmas. There's time to do the other stuff.
Favorite movie?
I mean, I'm going to pick A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. But for classic, that's tough because as a kid, I always liked Robin Hood and Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
Although as an adult, I'm like, that movie's way too sad.
Yeah.
It just depends on the mood I'm in. I have like a favorite Star Wars movie, and that's Empire. Favorite Marvel movie, Ragnarok just makes me laugh hysterically. That's like a comfort film at this point. And I'm trying to think of like classic Disney. It's hard to just say pick one.
Yeah.
I love Aladdin. I love Aladdin. Like you can't not love Robin Williams as the genie because it's just. I always wonder how many, like as that movie ages and kids watch it, are they going to even get half of these references? But this was hysterical to me.
Yeah.
Not the Will Smith version?
We haven't
seen
seen
it.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's also
will
not
say
that good.
Encanto is a new one that has taken my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm a crier. I'm an easy crier.
Me too.
And when I tell you there were ugly tears during that movie, and to the point where we're watching the fireworks and they started playing I'm sorry if I butcher this, Dos Oruguitos.
Yeah.
And again,
Yep.
tears coming down the face.
I am the same way. Favorite ride?
I love Haunted Mansion. And like everyone's mom, I also love Soarin'.
I mean, Rise of the Resistance is great. It's innovates the queue in a way. Like the first time I stepped out of the ship and I was on a Star Destroyer,
Yeah.
I was like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Spaceship Earth has a special place. in my
Oh,
heart.
yeah.
And can we lobby someone to bring back Horizons? Especially since didn't Mission Space take its spot?
I forgot.
And that ride
did.
made me ill. So
That
Mission Space
took,
is bringing nothing to the table.
that took
for
another
me.
30 minutes out of a trip for us. I didn't enjoy Mission Space per se, but I turned to look at you and I said, that's not the color of your skin normally. No. Are you good? No.
Yeah,
Okay.
here's a PSA. If you buy a frozen lemonade at 9:30 in the morning, it will be solid.
It's still
as a rock.
frozen.
It is still frozen. You are not eating that despite how much you need to for 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
You can try to lick it and you can hold it in the sun and hope it melts. That might get you down to 22 minutes.
Disney World or Disneyland?
As a person who once considered Disney World as my home park, it's Disneyland, and by like not even like, it's a
Disneyland-
big distance between
Yeah,
the two.
Disneyland has this comfort feeling. Disney World is a go trip.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter how much you try to say, I don't want to run around, you're going to run around Disney World. But there's something about walking into Disneyland, you're just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels relaxing. As much as a theme park can feel relaxing.
Yep.
And I think by our second trip, I'm like, yes, this is the superior park for me.
It has the opening day attraction still.
Yeah.
Like
Mr.
Mr. Toad Wild Ride
Yes.
is bonkers.
Yes.
Like
it is.
I didn't realize it as a kid because I had never seen Fun of Fancy. Was it Fun of Fancy? Ichabod Mr. Toad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I saw that as an adult, and I was like, okay, so when does Mr. Toad go to hell? And he doesn't. It's just crazy. So they have these bonkers rides, and especially now, like it has, with the exception, although the Disneyland Resort has Marvel, like the park itself it has everything that you want. The resort itself has everything you want.
Yep.
The one place where Disney World is, and it's just because of the land, like once you're there, you're fully immersed in the experience.
Yeah.
I remember going on Mickey's Fun Wheel and looking out to my right and seeing the whole pier.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. And then I look to my left and I see Tony
Roma's.
Roma's and,
Yeah.
and IHOP. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is where like it can't help. It didn't know that like this was going to be the behemoth it was, and didn't buy the land.
Right.
Yeah.
Because who knew?
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Spaceship Earth was in Disneyland, to me, it would be perfect. Because Spaceship Earth is, again, that is one of those nostalgic rides I go on and I'm happy and I wait for, the sad but delicious smelling Alexandria Library burning.
The burning. Yep.
Like everyone else does.
Yep.
And just to just go back to rides, I will say, or attractions.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. If you see a list, and I saw a list lately that rated them from worst to best, and they put this attraction as the worst, and I just closed it because Carousel of Progress is not the worst.
No.
And especially like, first of all, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But second of all, it's 22 minutes in air conditioning
Yes.
Right.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Like, hello. Like, and there's no wait for it. So like when you're hot, the longest you're waiting is 7 minutes, I think.
Yep.
So if you make that list and you put it last, you should just don't even fill out the rest. No one's gonna read it.
Yeah.
Out of all the ones that you've been to, favorite park?
It's funny because, Disneyland is now my home. Like, but gosh, Epcot, I love Epcot. And I feel, especially the kids are not quite to the point where they are embracing Epcot the way I do. It's still like, oh, I guess we're here now.
Yeah.
There's not that many rides here. But for me, I just want to try new things and experience new things. And I think the next time we go, if mommy just leaves you one day and just decides to go to Epcot for a few hours by herself, you'll probably find me in, I don't know what they call the World Showcase now, if they still call it that. But that's where you will find me, somewhere there, just meandering with a croissant in my hand or some sort of cheese, and just maybe in the cool store that's in Japan. I will just be meandering and having the time of my life. Again, kids are now at the age, they want to go to this ride, go to that ride. Go. They do not want to sit.
No.
Not yet. They'll get there.
No.
They will not appreciate either the American Adventure, either for how lovely it is or what a good nap it is. One of the two. Depends on where you are in the day sometimes.
Yep. No, Epcot
That's my favorite part.
is there for the vibes. Like it's just to go and enjoy the experience. It's not necessarily how many rides you're going to get in or stuff like that. And no, that shoots right over the kids' heads. So.
Yeah.
Epcot will always hold a special place in my heart because I was lucky enough when I was 5. We were there, I think, week 3, week 2. All I know is we went in October of 82 and it opened October 1st. So, I knew had just opened, but it wasn't until later in life I realized how it just opened.
Yeah.
But like if I could, and I think that's the spirit of the question is I can only pick one park that I'm going to go to it's going to be Disneyland.
That's fair.
As much as the castle is much smaller, and it is, and as more impressive as it is in Disney World, you get to go in it.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that like I don't think they advertise enough is that you get to walk through it, and like the art and the dioramas in there are amazing, and there's no wait.
It's just
and
something you can
have to do
and
at
it's
least
gorgeous.
once on your trip,
Yep.
and it takes there's no wait. It takes no time at all. The only issue is if you have a stroller. There's no way to get that stroller up, so you're gonna find parking and hold that kid. But it's worth it.
Yep.
Favorite hotel or resort?
Animal Kingdom. I drove him insane because I'm not going to do it here, but I would burst out with the beginning of Circle of Life every time the bus pulled up in front of the hotel.
Every time we went into the lobby.
Every single time. It is, first of all, gorgeous. The theming on point. The restaurant, Boma.
Yeah.
It is a buffet, but it is one of the best buffets I've ever had.
Yep.
There are things to do. I mean, there's things to do in every resort to some extent, but he watched the Super Bowl and I was like, I'm just going to go for a walk. And I went out and I looked at animals through night vision goggles. How on earth? This is something I've never done. I thought it was the most wild and amazing experience. And I highly suggest. It does have the big downfall of not being near literally anything besides Animal Kingdom.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is its biggest fault.
Yeah.
But as a themed resort, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is up there for me. I would put Boardwalk, and that is where we stayed on our honeymoon.
Yes,
so
that's
we
our honeymoon.
hold a special place. It's also, you can walk to Epcot,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're feeling up to it, you can walk to Studios. I don't think I would do that now with the Skyliner.
Yeah.
I would just walk to Epcot and take it there.
Yeah.
But we did back on our honeymoon. We did walk to Studios.
Awesome.
And it's great. Also, a fun fact is for the marathon, there is they cut you off to make sure, like, if you're too slow, but apparently, like, if you are going too slow, they will eventually scoop you up because they need to open the roads and stuff.
Right.
If you get to the boardwalk, which is still like 2 miles left, you get to the finish line. There is no scooping you off. So, so if you make it there, you're good.
You're in the clear.
Yeah, you're in the clear.
Nice.
Favorite Disney restaurant?
I don't remember the name of it. It is in the Mexico Pavilion. We had a great
San Angel Inn.
Yeah, we had a great time there. I'm going to give you a bonus one. It's not really a Disney restaurant, but in downtown Disney, Naples.
Okay.
That is how we kick off our trip. We did it every trip except for the second to last one because we landed at midnight.
Good reason.
And then it was 4 days in the park, 4 days at the convention. But we have either dinner or lunch there every trip.
All right.
That's how you kick it off in Disneyland.
Naples is just, again, that's one of our traditions. I love, for breakfast, I love Carnation Cafe.
Yeah.
It just, I like the fact sometimes you can sit outside, you can watch whatever's happening. They also have the indoor seating. I love the giant waffle, and it's a good waffle. It's not just looks.
Yeah. No,
the food tastes good. We've only eaten dinner there, I think, once.
Okay.
And we didn't really know what to get, so it was just kind of a mishmash of things.
Yeah.
But for breakfast, I would say Carnation Cafe. I'm trying to think.
No, we ate there twice.
Oh, we did eat there twice?
Yeah, we ate there one time for our oldest birthday. Was supposed to be in the.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist anymore. They got rid of it for Galaxy's Edge, but it was the
barbecue.
Barbecue. I think it was like Big Thunder Roundup or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And it rained that day, and it was an outdoor restaurant, so they don't do that. And I begged and pleaded with Carnation Cafe to like add us to the list, and they did. But then there was the trip that I tried to book all by myself, and we realized I'm really bad at booking food. So we could only get Carnation Cafe for dinner.
I'm trying to think if there's something in Disney World that really blew me away. Mexico was great. I love most of the experiences. Like Le Cellier was great.
That was another one I was going to mention.
Le Cellier was really good. Again, I have this soft spot for Epcot. It's just, and I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
The first time we went together, he watched me. Like, some people want to drink around the world. I wanted to eat, and I was not as successful, but more successful than I had any right to be.
More successful than I thought, because we went from, I forget, you got something in the UK, and then you're like, oh, let's go get something at France. And I'm like, that's the next one. You just got something. You're like, Yeah, we're gonna eat around the world.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's do it.
Last one. Favorite snack.
Mickey beignets. I love them. I never. You guys love those ice cream bars, but I'm such a beignet person.
Yeah, the Mickey bars are the things we probably eat the most.
Yeah.
The beignets are really good. That's a. I think that might have to be it. I'm not really a churro person, but I love them in Disneyland.
Yeah, they're really good in Disneyland, and I like trying some of the different flavor churros. For the 100th, they had like a cherry, or like it's sort of a berry flavored one, and we got that. And we also bought the maple bacon churro, which was really good.
I'm a churro person.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I guess I say I'm not a churro person. I guess I'm a good churro person.
Yeah,
That's why they're good in Disneyland.
They're
So.
horrible in Disney World from pretty much everywhere. Well, it's mostly carts in Disney World, except for Nomad Lounge and Animal Kingdom.
I heard about that. Yeah, that those are good.
Are amazing. Those are better than a Disneyland cart churro, like hands down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're pretty darn good, and they're gluten free. So if you want to have like a healthier meal, you can go have churros and not feel bad about
meal doused in cinnamon and sugar.
it. Yeah, totally.
Perspective
It
is
said
a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, we were when we were into Disney World, we were there for the 50th.
Yeah.
And I have 2 albums on, photo albums on Facebook. One is for the 50th anniversary, for the visit, for the trip, and the other one is food.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh because some people, I think, genuinely thought I was eating all, instead of us like buying something and splitting it, that I ate every single thing I posted. I'm like, I took bites of some stuff.
Well, it was the 50th and Flower and Garden. So
and Flower and Garden,
it was 50th snacks plus
Flower and Garden snacks.
So, the Epcot days were filled with pictures of food that everyone thought she ate. So that was like, I mean, she ate it, just not all of it.
Right.
It's like, I did not have all of, this cake or, whatever it was.
And there's only so much iridescent blue frosting that you can have. Yeah. Like that's just like, guys, come on, slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down.
It's purple for the
And we had
100th.
it. And we had that limit, whatever it was.
Yeah. You reached it.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, Christine, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. It was great getting to know you and hearing a little about all your adventures in Disneyland.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
We are not affiliated with Disney, and we are not travel agents. We like to offer our opinions and suggestions, and we do recommend working with a travel agent to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have any questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us on socials at Our Mousecapades, and please rate and review in your podcast app to help people find us.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.